My first myth today came in via request, and it asks if it's true that the spiritualized song Cop Shoot Cop is actually about police brutality. That band's Ladies and Gentlemen record is absolutely brilliant, and if you listen to the lyrics on this one, you'll very quickly know that the cop brutality story is, well, pure myth. The opening line to this song is a very obvious nod to heroin addiction, and when you look at the lyrics the right way, the chorus of Cop Shoot Cop, that means cop as in get the drugs, shoot them, shoot the drugs, and cop again and repeat. It's about someone who's in a vicious cycle of addiction, and Cop Shoot Cop has nothing to do with police officers. Helping this to become the truth of the matter, the song's writer has never disagreed with people when they say the song has nothing to do with police brutality, so for me, it's enough to make this one fact. Regardless of how deep you want to dig into this one, it's about heroin addiction, not police brutality. My second myth also came in via request, and I have no idea how we haven't covered it over the years, but it questions whether it's true or not that when you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, there's satanic messages. I thought we put this one to bed decades ago as a culture because it's just not true. This story started in about 1982, about 10 years after Stairway to Heaven was first released, and it began on a Christian television network where one of the hosts said that if you play it backwards during one of the lyrical bridge sections, you'll hear this satanic message. The general idea of what you'll hear is something along the lines of Satan is powerful, or I sing because I love Satan, the word Satan definitely being the key word there. I have to admit, because I've done it a number of times myself, and you can find a number of copies on YouTube, if you play it backwards enough times and you listen to it in a certain way, you can hear the word Satan, I guess, if you play it backwards, kind of. But honestly, you're really pushing it if you want any full hidden message to be there. There were actually government hearings done on this during the 80s, and they brought in a bunch of neuroscientists who said that the human brain couldn't possibly hear what people were claiming was there. And overall, these claims were really forced, and people just trying to make rock and roll look bad. The band's record label also famously stated that their turntables only went in one direction: forward. For comparison, there are tons of records out there that do use backward masking properly, and you can clearly hear the messages. But in the case of Stairway to Heaven, it's a huge reach, and there's just no reason to buy into this myth. My last request today is a pretty dark one, and it asked me to explain the death of Adam Katz. This one kind of caught me off guard because I hadn't really thought about it in a while, and for those who don't know, Adam Katz is a Grateful Dead fan who was found dead on a highway after one of their shows in October of 1989. He disappeared during set break, and when they found the body, they said that there had been major head trauma. The state of New Jersey insisted that he had been high on LSD and jumped off a bridge, while his family alleged that he had had his skull bashed in by security guards and then was thrown over the bridge. The tough thing was, and still is, the fact that two state coroners had very different interpretations when they saw the body. And strangely enough, one of them supported each of the claims I just talked about. There were evidence on Adam's body that matched those found on one of the venue security vans. And in the same report, it said that the injuries he had sustained were not consistent with having jumped off a bridge. Adding to that, about a year and a half later, a special New Jersey grand jury put out a scathing report about the venue security actions, saying that there were tons of inappropriate actions, abuse, beatings, and tons of stuff like that. And of course, the family of Adam Katz had already been suing the venue for a long time. In the end, for whatever reason, the lawsuit went nowhere, but most people to this day believe it was a homicide as opposed to a suicide. The story is 100% true, it's still very much an open case in the minds of many people, and the circumstances around it led to a ton of changes in venue security all across the world. So those are my myths for this week. Be sure to check back here every Friday as I delve into some of the coolest stories in music history. If you've got a myth you want me to check out, you can email it to me at thedailyguru@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook right here, and I'll see you guys again next time.